Welcome to the current #1 use of SharePoint sites across the land, managing documents. Documents are stored within a library. No, this is not your local library, although those are really great places to find documents and books, but this is a container within your SharePoint site. In general, a document library is going to contain Office documents like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, also PDFs, text documents, and pretty much any document type that you can think of, except for executables or .exes, and most of the time zip files. These are two files that your administrators just don't want to harm your SharePoint environment. Also in SharePoint, you have some specialized libraries. These libraries include a forms library that is specifically designed to hold InfoPath forms, a picture, or what used to be called an images library, site pages that you'll see on most of your sites, and wiki pages that can be manipulated for knowledge management. A thing to remember, and that hasn't been taken advantage of in a lot of the sites that I've seen, is that your columns or your metadata can be shared throughout your Office products, so that adding attributes in SharePoint can also be manipulated in those Office products, and you don't actually have to go to the website to be able to fill it out. I also want to provide a reminder that while this is the #1 current use of SharePoint sites, document management is only one way to use SharePoint. Let's take a look at setting the foundation for using documents for people who've never used SharePoint before. You can do that by either using the brand new document sync function or by adding a network location. What happens here, using either of these functions, is that you're setting up your sites just like a file share. There might be some small differences on the operating systems that you're using, but in general, creating a familiar place for your staff to work with SharePoint will get them to start uploading documents immediately and motivate them to start interacting with that SharePoint site. The more information that is out there, the better the search, the better the value, and the more people will use it. Let's see how we set this up. Now that we're back at the team site, let's see how we use the document sync or adding the network location. Let's start with the document sync. The document sync is located on the site activities. You'll see the pop-up comes up, shows you the URL, and shows you the location on your desktop. I'll select Sync Now. There we go. It didn't take too long. Let's go see our files. You'll notice on the left that it says SharePoint, Team Sites, and Documents. So it's connected us directly to the document library. If I go up one level, we'll see the other team sites that I have also connected to. Now that we're here, I can show you how to add a network place. Remember that different operating systems might act in different ways, but for Windows 7 and Windows 8, they are the same. You come down to the computer icon, you right-click and say Add a Network Location, and you follow the steps. You hit Next, Next again. In this case, I've already copied the URL to my site that I want to add as a network location. I hit Next again. Let's name this the home site. And again, hit Next. And I will not open this so I can show it to you in the File Explorer. Here you go. You can see now underneath Computer, we have Home Site that I just named it. You can see that it's a network location like a folder. I'll expand it. Let me expand this window also. What you'll see is all of the different attributes underneath it. Let's click on this so I can see it in the center. And here you'll see that this first level is the site that we've been working on. And in that site are even more attributes. So you get, just like a file share, you get a folder structure, the home site, the demo site, and then the documents that are within the demo site. In this case, there are no documents, as you can see over here on the right, in the site itself. But it gives your user the feeling of being within that file structure that they're commonly used to. Maybe there are a few more files, but they can point and click and drag and drop just like they want. Now let's take a look at the most common actions that you can perform in a document library. The first being adding a document. With the introduction of SharePoint 2013, you can add directly through dragging and dropping through the user interface, whether it's in Internet Explorer or other browsers like Chrome or Firefox, documents. This is a really great new feature, and you can see it in this image. Also, you just saw how to add a network place or use the sync, and you can drag and drop documents directly there too. This is again a great way to motivate people to use the document libraries instead of alternative places, instead of hiding documents in email. But you have to remember that if you do have any metadata or column attributes, if you're dragging and dropping multiple documents, you'll have to go back in and edit each document individually. Another way to add documents is to directly upload from the ribbon. In Internet Explorer, you can both upload single and multiple documents. In other browsers, you'll only be able to upload a single document. This is the only holdover from SharePoint 2010 where there's a real difference between Internet Explorer and other browsers. And finally, we can use the different Create New buttons. In a web part on a page or in the actual library itself, you'll have a big New Document button. When you click on this New Document button, it asks you what type of file you'd like to create. You're creating the document directly in the SharePoint library where you're located. The other method is to add a new document from the ribbon. This is the same as SharePoint 2010, and again, it shows you the different values. However, in this case, there's only one document type that shows up as the default for the Create New. Now that we've added documents, let's take a look at the second most used function, which would be editing documents. First of all, like we've discussed after adding a network place or syncing, you can edit documents directly from Office products. This includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and really, everybody asks me, can I save documents directly from Outlook? Yes, you can. Just click Save As, and you'll be able to navigate to that place you've created as a network location or your sync location, and you'll be able to save documents directly from Outlook into your SharePoint site. Also, we can now edit directly from the browser. The experience is a little bit different from SharePoint 2010, but it's the same features. However, something that we have brand new in SharePoint 2013 is the Quick View. Remember, in the previous slide we mentioned that there's only one thing different between Internet Explorer and other browsers, and this is the reason why. Quick View replaces Datasheet View and does not use ActiveX controls, which were only for Microsoft tools. Now, in any browser, you can open up your library and edit multiple documents simultaneously and edit their attributes simultaneously, unlike what you could do in SharePoint 2010. They're not going to show up today, but we'll talk about them later. First, tracking versions. Remember, one of the great benefits of SharePoint site is that you can have a document with a single name and let SharePoint track the different major versions and even minor versions if you get into it, all in one location, so you know what happened when and the exact copies that have been created and by whom. The next is check in, check out. Yes, using that library term again, you can actually take this document, check it out, and say that no one else can edit it, and then when you're done, check it back in. The benefit of this is that no one can mistakenly overwrite any edits that you're trying to make, and also you can check it in and save messages to let your colleagues know what you've changed during that time. A final one to keep in mind is, for really important documents, you can create alerts or notifications. These alerts will let you know if a document has been changed, it's been updated, who it's been updated by, and you can control the frequency, whether it's instantaneously, every single day, or a weekly notice of when these documents have been edited. These are advanced features that really make using SharePoint above and beyond what you're used to using your file share for. Now let's take a look at all of this live. Now we're back at the team site. Let's see how we can add some documents. First of all, we talked about adding. So let's use the new 2013 drag and drop feature directly on this home page, something we definitely couldn't have done before. I'm going to go into my local documents drive, and I'm just going to pick, hey, Intro to Document Libraries. Let's bring that in here. So you can see it says drop it here. I could have as many documents as I want here, and once I drop it, you'll see a little window. It says that it's added the document. Pretty neat. Now, let's take a look at this same document library. I'll copy this other document using the sync. So we said that was document 1. And now I'll paste that in. If I come back to the site and refresh, now you can see that the document that I just dragged and dropped from the desktop into the folder, SharePoint, is there. Let's do that one last time with another document. I'll again copy it. Take a look at the home site. We're in the demo. We're in shared documents. We see the two other documents that are already there. And we paste. Now, if you notice, I wasn't literally dragging and dropping, but we could do that. Open another file folder window. Back to local documents. I'll take all of them. Replace the files. There we go. Drag and drop everything from one place to the other. Now that we've shown you how to drag and drop and cut and paste documents, let's go and see from the document library itself the two ways we can upload. We can click on the ribbon in the Files tab. We can upload a document. And here you see you can either upload a single file, oops, I moved all my documents from there. It asked me if I want to use the same methods that I was just to add multiple, upload files using Windows Explorer. So here, it's just directly opened this document library in Windows Explorer. If you ever want to do this at a different time, you can also look in the Library tab of the ribbon and look for this little icon over here that says Open with Windows Explorer. Let me just do it for fun. There you go. Open again. Now that we've successfully uploaded documents that already existed, let's create a new document directly in SharePoint itself. First, I'll start from the ribbon again. I'll go into the Files tab. I can either click New Document or do a drop-down. As you saw, the default document type here was Word, so it's opening Word to create a document. So now I've added content here. If I press Save, it's going to know exactly where I started it, and it'll ask me if I want to save it in the current folder, and I do. And we'll call this You can see that it has my user's name. I can add tags if I want, but I'll just press Save here. Now if I close out of Office and come back and refresh the page, now we can see the document that we just created. Now the second way to add a document is from the New Document. This shows me all of the different Office programs that I can create a document for. Let's stick with Word. Again, this document will open directly in the Office web applications. So I'll say Demo, New from Header. So again, we have the same mostly functional Office web app, but in this case, I can open it up in Word again. Let's save the changes. And now, let's change my little misspelling here. Great. Change it into a title. Fantastic. I'll press Save. And great. Now we can see the document that we just created from the header. The new document from the ribbon that was created first, and the second one from the header. Now we've shown you the two ways to edit a document from the browser, either using the ribbon or using the header. And there's one last way to go back to the ribbon and use the Quick Edit. This is most useful when you have metadata or column attributes assigned to a document, but this is a simple document library, so here I'll just show you really quickly how to change a title. So we'll call this new underscore from header. And if I wanted to, I could change the titles of all of the different documents all at the same time. This becomes very useful if you have a lot of metadata and you've copied a lot of documents into the document library. If I say stop editing this list, it's already saved those changes, and we go back to the normal view. Those are the different ways that you can edit a standard document library in SharePoint.